Hey YouTube, Colorado Jeep Guy here. So today it's really hot in Colorado and I've got some things to put on the Jeep here. A couple of these things are some off-road mirror brackets, and let me show you how to do those. So here we have, I chose some Smittybilt product, and what we have is just simply some quick release mirrors for the Jeep JK or TJ, doesn't matter. So what you'll see here is it bolts onto the frame, and you have this mirror that you can almost see it here. It has this screw-on attachment, but I'll be unboxing this and showing you every part of it. So let's find out what's going on here. I am lucky enough to have a 4-wheel parts store that carries this nearby me, but you don't have to have that. You can get all of Smittybilt stuff right online from several different websites, including got Amazon, XT, Terrain, just lots of different things. Here's the brackets. You can tell they're heavy duty. They got a nice little cushion right there on the first half, and then the middle and the second half. There's a little just hand tightening doodad right there that the mirror is going to slip into, and there's the 2 holes that it's going to go into the frame with right there, and it should go on right here onto the window frame itself. That way, no matter what, if you have the bracket in place, it can stay there when you take off the road mirrors, and these guys can just come off and stay on the doors themselves. So let's get started. All right, so I've just got a nice little wrench here, socket, and it's got a T40 bit. I'm just gonna put it right inside that little guy right there. Give this guy a turn and you'll see that it opens up fairly easily. And get both of these guys started. And you see that right there. All right, so I'm just gonna take these bolts out and we'll keep going from there. All right, so I've got one of them out. I just wanna let you guys know these are about this long here. So you don't just twist and twist forever and think, how long are these things? Remember, they have to go through that bracket and they seat pretty well. And this is a foundational part of the Jeep here. I want you guys to know that when I'm using this guy right here, I prefer to use my socket wrench because you get better leverage when you're actually undoing one of these things. And these guys tend to hold a lot of torque there, and you can get more leverage with this wrench instead of using just a screwdriver piece with this T40 attachment there. So I use a 1/4 inch socket head to use with my bit set, and then that's a T40. All right, well, good luck if you're doing the same thing, and we'll move on. Okay, I just want to do the rest of the unboxing here. We have 2 arms for the mirrors, one for either side, and then this guy right here, the mirror head, should be in a separate box, and there should be one. All right, 1 and 2, and then obviously the instructions, nothing else in the box right there. Put that on there. And then just to show you a quick snapshot. Well, it's only quick if I can open the box quickly, isn't it? All right, just to show you a quick snapshot of what this guy looks like. Nice size. And compare this guy to the current mirror. You think it's small, but it's actually not that small at all. Actually a nice size there. And that's got a little bolt on frame that's going to go onto the tip of that. You'll be able to manipulate it around. And you will want to know that when you open this, I'll get back to that in a moment. Okay, I've slipped these 2 guys out of the package, and you'll see some included hardware right here. This hardware is actually for the mirror itself. It is not for putting these brackets on. You've got to use the OEM bolts that you have on the Jeep already, so make sure you know that. You will have to remove this guy. You can see if you're trying to put this on, then this guy right here will get in the way. You got to pull that out so you can install this guy. Okay, so that's what I'll do next. Okay, what I like to do is I'd like to install it just like so. It's going to be right there. You can see it's out of the way here. When this door opens, though, it would come into contact there. We'll see how much when we're finished. You see the part where the screw head comes on top and this sits on the bottom. That's how you're going to want to install it with the OEM bolts. One thing I wanted to point out here really quick, if you can see right here, it looks like there's this little ring of something. That's actually a washer. I'm going to go to the other side because I've already taken some off here. And the washers actually fell out here. You can see the bolts, and then the washers are sitting right here. They just sit right there inside. Sorry, let me do that again. They sit right here inside this spot right here. And they just fell out when I was taking them over here. Now you could replace these if you don't have them there. You could replace these with just some simple rubber washers. It would be just fine. But I just wanted to show you that just in case you're dealing with the same thing that I'm dealing with. And I'm going to go ahead and use these OEM bolts to install this guy. So literally what I'm liking to do is just putting these in place and hand tightening them, and it's a little bit of a challenge to find the channel after you get it out of that washer. You actually have to press in and turn at the same time, but when you find it, you'll feel it and it'll actually start to go in. Over there on the other side, I think what I'm going to do is pull the washer all the way up to the bracket, and I'll show you that when I get over there. But I'll finish hand tighten this, and I'm going to move it to the other side, and I'll show you that, and then I'll come back and tighten them with the wrench. So you'll see over here what I'm doing is I'm actually going ahead and putting the bolt in, so then I can put it in place with that washer all the way pulled up, because you can see it's sitting right there. It's actually quite difficult to put on to the bolt. So I think when it comes through the bolt here, it really has a tight fit, and you'll feel that when you're doing that. So I just went ahead and put that one on. I'm going to do the same thing with this one, and then I'm just going to screw it into place just like I did the other side, and then we'll move on. Okay, so you see the assembly's already just kind of inserted, but what you've got here is you've got this bar, which is separate from this guy right here, and you've got these two doodads here that you can tell have a kind of a cylinder to round shape. When you put them together like so, they can clamp down, and that spot's going to go right into there, and that just sits in there. Whoops. And that's just going to sit in there like that with pure pressure, and that missing bolt here that's going to go down through there and lock that into place. Now you're like, well, which way is this going to go? Because this guy, when you put this in, is actually not very tight, and you can do all kinds of angles with it. You're actually going to want to put it that way, where you can see it's got a flat part, and the mirror is going to sit right there on that. Let's grab the mirror from here. Now let's go ahead and get it. There we are. Good enough, so I don't put so many fingerprints on it. It's going to sit in there like that when I get it on, so this guy will probably be angled like so. And it's going to be able to sit on, and you can see that you can get a visualization from the driver's seat to the mirror. Then you can adjust it, and it'll work with the doors off, because obviously these guys won't be here. So let me go ahead and put that bolt in and starting to tighten this down to see how this works out. So I've got this pulled out over here, and you can see that I can move back and forth. That's because I've got this loose enough that I just wanted to pull it back over here, because what I'm going to want to do is take this door off here pretty soon. But I'm going to go ahead and put the mirror assembly on there so I can show you guys what it looks like when it's all said and done. So once the mirror is installed, now I still got it loose so I can move it back and forth. This bolt needs to be tightened, and that's where your wrench is going to come in handy again. This is a 12mm bolt. I'm just going to tighten it down a little bit. I'm going to have to hold this mirror, so I'm just going to tighten it down a little bit and then show you after I tighten this down the finished product. Okay, great. So the off-road mirror is on, right? So it sticks out a little bit further than your fender flares, but you can see that it's going to be the widest part of your Jeep again, as your mirrors usually are, unless you've got some offsets on the wheels, and then they'd probably be lined up right with it. However, you can see that you're going to have to align this just right. General rule of thumb is if you can get this straight out as possible from the frame, the way it's coming, it's going to be in the right spot here, and you can see that I've tilted this a little bit more. But how else do you know, besides getting in over here, coming out over here, and adjusting your mirror? How do you know how to adjust this thing? I'm going to give you a tip right now. This is a freebie. Wherever you like to see down the edge of your Jeep, get there to the back of the Jeep and look. So I like to see right down the side of my Jeep, and I like to see right around this area of my Jeep, pretty much right above my tail light, and I like to see right here coming down the road. Now, if that's where you like, position your mirror where you can see your headrest. And if you can see your headrest, that's where you're going to set your mirror when you're in the spot that you want to be in. If you want to be down here, you're going to have to be able to see your headrest from here. If you want to be up here, which I don't know why you'd want to be this high, but you're going to have to position it here. But if you like it a little bit wider out, then you're going to have to obviously turn the mirror out that way. That's just a little tip on adjusting your mirror on the opposite side. So one thing I wanted to note as I'm going to go put on the other side over there, these guys right here and this came with these 4 bolts right here. These are actually replicas of the OEM bolts that I use to put here. So even though the instructions told me to use the OEM bolts, these are the exact same size, and I could have used these. So I'm just going to save these and not use them for now because I don't need them. because this whole entire assembly went up without them, and it's all in place. It's secure. I'm gonna put it on the other side, give you a quick glimpse of what it looks like for both sides. You know, I think it looks definitely a little awkward there for the off-road mirror, but it's mandatory in my state, and I think most states driving regulations require it. And I like the fact that these guys, you can just loosen that, slip it back, and you can take them off and still have the bracket in place for whenever you do want to go off-roading. So I'll just take a quick snapshot after I'm done and show you guys the final product. Okay, final demonstration here, or show off of the off-road mirrors. You can see them on both sides. They are there. I'll do a quick walk around the Jeep here. That is hail damage. That's going to have to be addressed, maybe with a upgraded hood. And you can see that it doesn't look horrible on the Jeep, but it does different than your standard Jeep. I chose the round mirrors. Actually, it was just a price decision. I don't really care too much when I'm off-road, and I can snap those off really quickly. Oh, and just FYI for the tip, it works both ways. I like to see right here, you can see my headrest, and that's an adjustment mirror. A tip from the Colorado Jeep guy, you can take that or leave it. Next, I gotta get this top off so I can enjoy some summer outings here. And yeah, that's it.